What up, database? Data7 here. Like the new intro? Anyway, I'm doing a little movie review mini series, and this is not to be taken the way, but it's basically adult movies where kids are the center. And no, I'm not reviewing some obviously awful ones, but look, we're basically gonna start with the oldest and move our way forward. So this particular review is Stand By Me. Next down the line is going to be The Good Son, and we'll finally end it off with Good Boys. So either way, one thing I gotta say about these types of films in general is that kids should not be in adult movies, period. And somebody say, well, Dana, don't you like these films? I may like them, but that goes for those films that I like too. All right. Without further ado, let's do Stand By Me. It was released in 1986, and it's based off a Stephen King novel. It's the most normal Stephen King novel called The Body. In fact, it's the most normal one he's ever made. Again, haven't seen very many Stephen King movies, but all of them are paranormal. This one's the most normal. Pitt, you still with us?
Yeah.
Hold on. Alright, so now let's begin this discussion. Alright, so the movie starts off with one of our main characters as an adult, Gordy, whose kid part is played by Will Wheaton, and the person who's narrating and playing adult Gordy is played by Richard Dreyfuss. And this takes place in 1959 in Oregon during Labor Day weekend, because this is one of those places that school starts after Labor Day. We never experienced that, now did we, Pitt?
No, I know that wasn't the case when we were.
Yeah, that's not the case where we live, but anyway. All right, so he starts telling the story of what happened one Labor Day weekend before school started. So it just kind of starts out pretty much in like the gang's tree house, and he's with his friends Christopher, or Chris, played by the late River Phoenix, Theodore, or Teddy, played by Corey Feldman, and Vernon, whatever, played by Jerry O'Connell. So basically, Vern comes to the treehouse and tells them that he heard from his older brother, who's a member of, pretty much the only one who can be seen as who's pretty much the antagonist of this film, Ace. And Ace, who's played by Kiefer Sutherland, if that name sounds familiar. He would go on to play Jack Bauer in 24. So he hears from his brother that like there's a dead body somewhere, so they're gonna go out and look for it. At first, it's for like the fame and notoriety, but then they realize it's just like they just gotta find it, and most of it is just them walking and camping, trying to find where this body is. they get into some shenanigans along the way, but like, and some things happen that I didn't expect, like this point where they're just messing around in like this pond or whatever, and then they get leeches on them.
Oh, shit, that thing was cringy.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, and and Gordy actually gets one on a place you do not want to get a leech. And all I could say that I had that in the back of my mind watching that. Are they going to do it or are they not going to do it? You know, are they going to do it or are they not going to do it? And guess what? They did it.
Yeah, they did.
Because sometimes if it's an older film, even if it's more for an adults, you could still question: Are they going to do that or are they not going to do it? To be honest, with older films, it's kind of a crapshoot. It's not like today where we're just expected, you know. So, but also one thing they so one thing they pack with them on this trip is Chris's father's handgun, which they which he Chris just basically makes Gordy shoot in the back of like in a back alley of a store.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it's unloaded, and then he shoots it.
Ugh. Yeah, seriously, these boys have clearly not been taught safety at all, which is not surprising considering it's pretty much said that pretty much all their fathers are heavy drinkers.
Yeah, I know. They all have, like, crazy dads.
Yeah, especially with Teddy, who's whose dad in a drunken rage, Teddy pissed him off somehow, and he basically held his ear up to a stove and burned it.
Oh, yeah. He has a deformed ear because of that.
I didn't notice it at first, and I was about to say, "Oh, they didn't do it," but they didn't do it. But it turns out they did. Now that I look closer. Now let me just get something out of the way. On one of my earliest top 10 lists, I put this as one of the worst films I had seen that year. Well, then again, I was 16 and I was a little more sensitive to the fact because keep in mind, these these kids the kids in this movie are freaking jerks to one another.
I mean, yeah, they definitely are.
And that's originally what annoyed me. I don't remember exactly what I said in that list, but I don't know. I said it was more, and I also didn't seem to like the fact that these like this is before I saw it as an adult and realized that like some kids actually do this. Yes, I didn't. I guess I just didn't look at myself and realize just how much of a jerk I was when I was a kid.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think we all were at some point.
Yeah, and another thing I had an issue with, like that they sneak smoke, but honestly, but honestly, I've moved past that and I've just had to kind of accept it because this is the 50s. There weren't really any laws on who could buy tobacco.
No, not really. You could just go and be like, yeah, can I get a pack of cigarettes?
Yeah, and you just got to look at it in that context. But I will say there are a lot of my older opinions in some of those top 10 lists I still don't have. Like my opinions on him have changed as I got older. But either way, older. So yeah, if anyone tries to criticize about that, I'm bringing that up right now because that opinion is no longer true. but it's. But I will say this is actually a really good film. Now, this one is a little harder to talk about, mainly due to the fact that like it's more like a quiet, like just sort of like journey film. And
Yeah, there really isn't too much to talk about with this movie. I mean, they may have some deep conversations during the journey, but that's about it.
yep, then they have. Now let's talk about the scene that I'm pretty sure everyone's wanting me to talk about because this scene's very famous. After they find the dead body and and Ace and his gang come and try to take it from him.
Yep.
Um,
They come up with like, we want the body for ourselves and all that.
yeah, and the fact that Ace he like pulls out a switchblade and he's nearly about to cut Chris's throat, and I'm like, what are you gonna kill a kid, man?
Yeah, apparently he was planning on it, apparently.
You planning to kill a kid, bro? Not very seriously. A lot of real life gangs don't even respect that. It's true, they don't. So then Gordy fires one shot in the air. And he basically just says, "What, are you going to shoot all of us?" He's like, "No, just you." Because he knows the rest of them are cowards and they're nothing without Ace.
Yep. So if he gets in his hand, they'll just break off and go do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he backs down. That just shows how much of a coward he is because bullies, they act all tough, but in the end, once they get beat at their own game, they back down like wimps because that's what they are. They're pussies.
They say bullies go after people weaker than them, and if you prove yourself not to be weaker than them, chances are they're not going to want to mess with you.
Yeah, as you know, I struggled with bullying a lot during middle school, but the problem is I never beat them at their own game, which I'd say in a sense is a good thing.
I mean, I guess so, because you'd probably just people weren't getting in trouble.
Yeah, and also we can mention you remember that fight.
Oh yeah, that fight, yeah.
Or a lack of a fight from me, but I'm just saying if
yeah, I saw you get into a fight with that dude, and I noticed that you were having a bit of a hard time going up against him.
Yeah, because as I may have taken martial arts, but it seems like one thing I've had is like when it seems like doing it to an actual person I have trouble doing because I'm just not that type of person.
But you in this game safe though. So
Yeah,
you got to that fight.
Yep, you and Murdoch definitely came and saved my skin. And for those of you who don't know who Murdoch is, he's an old friend of ours. He was only in a couple videos back in way old days, back to high school days. We haven't seen him since high school, but I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, hopefully he is. Who knows where he is now? But yeah, we had to save your butt, and wow, that was one of the few times we would rely on Miss Clark for something.
It doesn't even matter that you even used her name because I've already told a story about her, and two, she no longer works there. She no longer works there. So anyway,
yeah, even if it did, you could have just edited it out.
Right, but I think at this point, didn't she get fired?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she got fired eventually.
Yeah, yeah. But either way, back on this, it was like, that's off topic. So overall, it's a decent film. I mean, it ends pretty well. I mean, it definitely shows that like they said, sure, like the rest of them they see less and less of because that's natural as people get older. Yeah,
Oh yeah, and you figure out some of the stuff that happens to them among the years too. Like one of them apparently went to jail for a bit and now just works odd jobs.
yeah, yeah. And Vern married out of high school.
Yep.
Now, first thing we need to do is like one of my main issues is like when people are jerks to each other, they're mostly jerks to Vern.
Good point. Yeah, it is usually him that be picked on.
Yeah, and sadly, and sadly, like Chris was the one that died, which I think,
Oh yeah, he ended up dying.
and to think that River Phoenix would die just within the next decade.
I know.
I don't know. I don't know
I
if
could say it's foreshadowing, but at the same time, we all end up dead anyway. So
yeah. So, and he died young too. I can't remember. I think it was suicide. I could have been wrong. So, so yeah. So yeah, it's a decent film worth checking out, especially if you're into Stephen King adaptations. Well, as I said, this one is kind of lackluster because it's a little harder to talk about.
I know. So basically, other than the major plot points we discussed so far, it's really nothing.
Yeah,
I guess we could talk about that junkyard scene. I guess.
Yeah, we could talk about it for the last thing, and yeah, even though they get sick by that dog, it's like, and yeah, I can't remember who, like even though I saw it recently, I forgot who specific dad it was that everybody talks crap about. I think it's Chris's dad. They always talk crap about.
Oh yeah, the one that's called a lunatic.
Yeah. Yeah. But either way, so either way, that concludes this discussion. Tune in next time when we review The Good Son.
And this one's gonna be a bit longer, I have the feeling.
All right, so anyone else? See you in the next one. Peace. Happy
Goodbye.
Halloween.